All right, let's talk about Manchester United boss Ruben Amorim, who's been very honest about his faults on the club last season. He said that he travelled to games last season fearful what was going to happen to his team. Remember, Manchester United finished 15th in the Premier League last season, lost the Europa League final to Spurs as well. Have made some good signings, I think it's fair to say, so far this season. Cunha coming in from Wolves and Burmo coming in from Brentford. Do you like Ruben Amorim's honesty? He's come in and he has been very honest, sometimes maybe too honest, Martin. I mean, every manager does it their own way. We heard Russell Martin scathing, Ruben Amorim quite similar.
Well, he's made some remarks pre-season about his concern about going into matches last year and not feeling as if they could win the games. I think that was it. He's not repeating that for this season, is he? He's not. No, he's not repeating that. So, in other words, he's able to get that out of the way. And I understand that you can go to as a manager, you can go with your team to he's at Manchester United at this minute, by the way. But it's not as if he's managing a poor football club. He's managing not the best football team, but he has gone to matches last season thinking, wonder where they're going to get a goal. I remember him saying in one of the matches, I think it was against Nottingham Forest at the City Ground, Forest scored within 2 or 3 minutes, and he said at the end of the game, thought, that's it. How are we going to fight back? That's not a great sign then when you're thinking about those things. He has added a couple of players to the football club. I think they're very fine players, really decent players, and I think they, by any standard, they're worth their weight. But at the end of it all, he should not be repeating this message anymore because he will have had that time. He's had the time now to adjust, to make those things. And now, please, whatever you do, don't say that there about this particular season.
Yeah, I almost feel like he could be too honest. I just want to quickly play this out, Simon. This is what he said. Remember, this is part of the Premier League series, this game against Everton, and they're doing half-time interviews, which I know some managers like, some managers don't. This is what he had to say about Manuel Ugarte and his performance in that first half against Everton.
When I think Ugarte has the ball, you can see the defense walking towards the box. So we need to sprint when Ugarte lose the ball. We need to be at least in the edge of the box. So these small details we have to improve.
Again, those are half-time interviews, so not full-time when maybe you can give you a full conclusion of a game.
Okay,
is that too scathing?
Yeah, it's half-time away in America at this minute. He's not thinking too much about it. He's in that particular instance, my view would be he's playing to the broadcast whatever company. The broadcast company. Right. But please, number one, you wouldn't want to be interviewed at halftime by any stretch of the imagination. But more importantly, I think if you're going to criticise, just criticising the collective. Do not be pulling out a player. And if you're going to do that there, even at the end of games, let's say press conferences, now don't do it. If you have a chance to speak to the players, do it in private. Let off all steam if you want to. Please criticise the players in front of the rest of the team, if that's the case. If that's your modus operandum or whatever the case may be, please do that.
How critical is 15 minutes at half-time for a manager?
I've always thought it's very critical. Absolutely.
So how bloody silly is it that it needs to be dominated by media? The media will take content wherever they can take it from, and they'll clamour and shout and scream for new evolutions. Mm-hmm. I've always felt that a manager goes to work at 15 minutes at half-time, and that 15 minutes may well be best utilised in the time that he sees fit to deploy, not talking to broadcasters.
Couldn't agree more. I couldn't. You have your thoughts, and your thoughts can change. This is the whole point. About 5 minutes before half-time, you might be leading in a game 1-0. You might have dominated a match, and you're thinking, yeah, this is really good. And it might change within, somebody equalises, maybe go 2-1 behind, and your whole thought process changes. So you're addressing, and in your mind, you're trying to get ready for it, rather than somebody sticking a microphone in front of you and saying, "What do you think? What do you think?" No, you don't, and you don't really want to tell them what you're thinking.
Yeah, because you don't want to give tactical advice away, do you? You don't want to give anything away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard varying. I mean, I remember speaking to some of the rugby players when Martin Johnson was the England captain, talking to some of those guys about what happened in the dressing room at rugby times. And a lot of the time, players did something. There was 5 minutes of quiet time, so it might not have been quite as critical as it would appear in this instance. I think 15 minutes of time during a game.
Not even that, is it? Really, it's not even 15. Is it?
No, it's probably about 12 by the time you got them into the dressing room. I I'm a great believer in giving people enough opportunity to have their words, to either hang themselves or run with them, right? The piece of rope that they're going to be given to be successful as a manager. I think some of the things that Ruben Amorim said last year were silly. I think they were silly and seemingly unaware of the environment that he was in. Man United, you utter something, it whispers down the corridor and it reverberates around the world.
Unaware about the size of the club.
And Jim Ratcliffe said some ridiculous things as too. Jim, it seems to be an ailment that is contagious in that environment. Jim Ratcliffe goes on to an interview with major broadcasters and tells everybody Man United got no money. Right? Absurd. I mean, it's absolutely absurd. Ruben Amorim runs around telling people that this is the worst Man United side that that's ever been managed. I mean, he forgets they got relegated in 1974 and then has to row back from it and turn around and say, I didn't mean that and I'm young. Mate, you're not that young, and if you're managing Man United, your age is not an excuse to suggest to the media that you're naive and inexperienced. I do think there's a way to communicate with the media. I don't think it's easy, but I think if you've got the Man United job and you're capable of managing, in people's eyes, Manchester United, then you should be capable of managing the media, however difficult it might be. And the one thing you don't do in a football club, as easy as it might be to say rather than do, is you surely don't make it worse. That can't be. It can't be. I know sometimes you take one step back to take two steps forward. But he brought it in on the back of Ten Hag and the ridiculousness of their decision the previous summer, when not only did they keep Ten Hag, they gave him a bigger contract and kept him and extended his contract. And then they reversed out of the Ten Hag position because it was so untenable. And they brought a guy in that was bright and breezy, that had been, run around photobombing clubs for jobs in the previous summer. So he wasn't that exclusive. Yeah. And he's made it worse. And that's the part I can't understand. And he seems to have been allowed to make it worse. So I want him to be judged now more so by the first 6 months of what he does this season rather than anything he said or done previously, because then it will be his environment, his pre-season, some of his players. Yeah,
more issues for Manchester United as well. And some might say this isn't an issue, but Alejandro Garnacho has appeared to endorse a transfer to Chelsea. Fabrizio Romano posted that this could be one of those here we go moments, and Garnacho liked the post. Is that a problem? I mean, again, look, he's a young kid. He clearly wants out of the club, but surely you just stay quiet, train, and let your agent deal with the situation.
Well, his agent didn't deal with, or was it his brother, didn't deal with the situation too cleverly after. He got left out in the final of the Europa League. And from a distance, it looked as if that was kind of harsh because he was the one player who might go past a few people. Anyway, he got left out in the game. I've been left out of teams. I've gone in the huff. There's no question about that. But however, that's gone now. He obviously wants out of the football club. But if you're starting to tweet and put thumbs up and the what is it, the emojis and stuff like this here. I love this here.
Before your time.
Before your time. And if I was Chelsea, I'd be thinking, hold on, just steady on. We've got some players here at this football club at this minute. We'll see where we stand, or we'll see where we are after a couple of weeks or before the end of the transfer deadline. If we really want you, we know we can get you because Manchester United don't want you at the football club. It's gone a bit crazy. And listen, when I played, players had no power. Absolutely no power whatsoever. You did what the club told you. You did that, all of those things, and that wasn't right. Now it's gone completely the other way. The players and the agents have all the power.
Yeah, and look, he clearly wants out of the club, and it's something that Ruben Amorim's going to have to deal with. It's not just them, it's Jadon Sancho. Obviously, he's dealt with the Marcus Rashford situation. There are so many hurdles for Ruben to go over. But this Garnacho one seems turning into something a bit naughty.
Yeah, you know. I mean, if he wanted to play in the club, then he would have played the player, and the player would have been playing in the final, and he would have been valued. Clearly, it's a mutual dislike or mutual unadmiration society. Garnacho doesn't admire Man United and they don't appear to admire him, so they're bedfellows in that respect. So they should be able to find a common goal. And if people want to trawl over digital content, I'm sure the club aren't, the media will, and aspects of the media will turn it into a 4-act play. He wants to leave Man United, big deal. The big thing is players wanting to leave Man United is the bigger story, because Man United was the club that no one wanted to leave, or very rarely do people want to leave Man United. Man United leaves them.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.